Does it look weird?
No, it's just like hard to set up.
It's not hard if you're like intelligent.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Daniel Sloss joke out of all of them about religion, where he's like, no, you're entitled to have your religion. I just grew up with my parents not being religious because, you know, they were intelligent.
It is very funny. He's a very funny guy. I want to see his new special. Oh, we're seeing him. He's here.
You're seeing him?
Yeah.
You're a prick.
Are you coming?
I didn't get invited.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I got invited to Tom Segura, which we're doing.
Oh, you're coming to Tom Segura?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to come to Daniel Sloss?
I would have.
Oh, you don't want to come anymore?
Well, I wasn't invited. When is he?
Have we started recording already? Oh, okay, yeah. April, I think. Wait, does this mean people can see what my password is?
April, yeah, I'd do that. 100%. He's funny. He's very funny. I like him. Would you like me to hold comments? No one watches it anyway. We've got like 2 views on every video. And also, why is my porn on your phone? On your computer?
I don't know.
Is that just porn of me? Is that just videos of me that you've taken at some point?
I just want people to see that today. And I didn't just make it just then. It's been here this entire time.
I'm more interested in what this photo is.
It's from many years ago. Do you want to look at it? It's a bad photo. This is me when me and Kush first started going out.
Oh, look at you.
Isn't that cute? Look how young I am.
Yeah. You actually couldn't grow facial hair back in the day.
Yeah, I couldn't.
You weren't lying.
This is me with my poop spider from the other day. I don't know why that...
Chuck your license up so everyone can see your address.
No. I saw you... I don't want to say what I was about to say.
What? What were you about to say?
No, I already told people too many things on this podcast. Like an idiot. Like some sort of dumb...
So I feel like to start the podcast, we should go straight back to the topic that we started discussing.
So are we going to join these two together?
No, I think we just cut the other one.
Okay. Or do we just put the other one up as like a mini episode?
We could do that.
Like as an extra?
Yeah, as like a midweek episode as well.
Yeah,
like you don't have to put it up on the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that means that one will come after this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
So this is episode 17.
Yeah.
And we'll call that one episode
17.5.
17.5.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That works for me.
I like that.
So for those that haven't watched episode 17.5,
yeah.
What happened was we started recording a podcast, and 15 minutes in, a friend walked in and we stopped doing the podcast and went and trained instead.
Yeah. Which is funny because normally I'm trying to actively avoid training, not push myself into training.
Yeah, because we originally said, we'll finish the podcast.
Yeah.
And then go into training.
But then we realised it would have been another 45 minutes and didn't want to leave him waiting downstairs for that.
Yeah, that's true. But it started off as a good conversation. But you know what?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No, you go first.
Oh, I was just going to say, he's putting some... He must be deadlifting heavy every day while he waits for his, like trialing out his bicep. Like he seems to, every post I see from him every day, there's a heavy deadlift.
Well,
but is that actually maybe just not actually that heavy for him, and he's more just gradually loading the bicep to see how much it can handle?
I don't know. So the friend we're talking about is Luke Reynolds, who is a professional strongman who we haven't known for very long, but we've somehow got along really well with him.
Yeah, he's pretty active in your gym.
He enjoys coming and training here, so I like having him here because he really pushes us. Are you blowing into the microphones again?
No, I'm just... Yeah, okay, we're good. I was just noticed that my sound waves were smaller than yours, and I was worried that maybe I was only getting your background noise.
Oh, I mean, it makes sense that your sound waves are smaller than mine. Because you're smaller.
Are we recording?
Than me. Yeah, we're recording there too. Yeah,
you have put on a lot of size lately.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%. Are you heavier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't, but I weighed myself.
Yeah.
And I am.
Yeah? How much are you weighing?
I'm like 81.95.
You are still...
Not like I am exactly 81.95 because I weighed myself.
You are still 12 kilos lighter than me.
Yeah. And I carry my weight better than you do.
Yeah, a lot better. You know, we had a discussion the other day that JP from your gym, me and him weigh about the same. Now, at this point, I'm probably actually a kilo or two heavier than him. And if you stood us side by side and were like, Steve's heavier than him, everyone would be like,
nah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah,
like,
he looks massive.
He's fucking huge.
Yeah. It's because all of his weight is here.
He's got big legs as well.
Oh, they are big.
He's got bigger legs than me. Easily bigger legs than me.
I think you look great.
Thank you. But that's not what we're concerned about. I'm concerned about I want to know, I understand why, but I would like you to explain why. There is such a discrepancy in size. Like if we did actual like measurements, like chest, bicep, thigh, and everything, you would look at those measurements and go, JP is 100%, would have to have 5-6 kilos on Steve. Yeah. At least. But why is it not that way?
Well, I have to...
Is it just because I'm packing downstairs? Is that
it
why?
Could be. It could also be that I have to imagine that JP has...
He's not?
hollow bones. Like, you know how birds have hollow bones?
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought...
Yeah, I know what you thought I was going to say.
Oh, fuck. JP doesn't listen to this either, does he?
No, there's no way.
So we can shred on him as much as we want.
Yeah, he would have no idea.
Cool. I'll make sure I put up shorts of us shredding on him as well.
On JP? Poor guy.
Which we've also been... We need to pick that up. I need to do that. I think I can figure out how to do that from my phone as well.
Do the shorts?
Yeah.
Can you upload them to YouTube as well?
I could.
Okay, like you don't have to do anything, but upload them to YouTube. I will make the cover photo for it, and I will do I'll just copy the write-up from Instagram and put it up as well. It just needs, like, when you upload it to Instagram, I need you to just upload it to YouTube. Because if it goes from your phone to YouTube, it'll be better quality than if it goes from your phone to my phone to YouTube.
I see what you're saying. So if I cut something,
make a cut
and then do it and put it on YouTube, and then you can go in and edit it.
Yes. Okay. As a private thing, don't put it up publicly straight away.
Right. I see. That makes more sense.
And I have done some more shorts and stuff, but like they're not finished, and because I edit the shorts more than normal, so like I make them sometimes so that it cuts between you and me, so it's not like the full screen, so it looks like
okay.
pro.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Have you seen any of like the YouTube videos? Have you looked at the things that we do?
I don't know that you're posting things.
Oh, okay. Well, that's sad.
I haven't known that you're posting stuff at all.
No, but have you looked at any of like the full podcasts on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
So have you seen all the like things where you're like...
No.
Oh, okay. You don't watch that far in?
I just make sure it's got sound.
Oh, okay. Because that one time?
Yeah.
And that was from your phone too?
Yeah, it was. I know. Yeah, well, my phone might die today.
Oh, really?
No.
My laptop might die
it'll
today.
Be fine. Your laptop dies regularly though.
Yeah, but the charger's in my bag, which is over there.
Can we just discuss the fact that Joe Rogan did a podcast with Robert Downey Jr.?
I wanted to talk about that today.
Did you?
So is it up already?
No, it's not up yet. He said he's going to release it when that Doolittle movie comes out. Robert Downey Jr.'s new film.
Because I thought that he does them live.
Does them live. Not all of them, because he didn't do the Sober October recap live either.
No, that was live.
No, it wasn't. Because they were saying on there why I wish this one was live.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because they did that on the 24th night or something like that. Yeah, okay. Huh. Yeah, I thought all of them were live.
No, I don't think all of them are live. It'd be funny if they... Or that would explain why 3 go up at a time.
Yeah, because I thought that's why.
Because he just goes back to back to back. Hey, he must be a workhorse.
Yes. Like, how exhausted are you after a podcast? Like, I'm pretty tired.
Are you?
Yeah, especially if I had like a really... Actually, you know when I was really tired? When you sent me that stuff yesterday on Instagram about the jump training and force production stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting.
No, that guy is a douche. He's a tool.
No, I like it.
Because you could easily have said what he said
without being that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely could have done it layman's.
He could have said it.
I see what you're saying.
He could have used simple formulas to show what he was saying. Instead, he took the most douchery way.
Yeah, he tried to confuse people really to seem smart. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. I still thought it was interesting though. I thought it was interesting that way because I'd never thought of it that way. But I do agree that it's stupid to write it that way because 90% of coaches that read that won't really understand what he's getting at anyway.
Yeah, I still don't understand.
I really struggle to understand it.
Can you explain the post for people, because we're doing that thing again where we talk about stuff where...
So there was a post that a guy, because Andy obviously doesn't like him, I won't give him a shout out with his name.
No, I don't not like him. I just thought it was like like everything else he posts is quality.
It was too technical.
But that one was like premium douchery.
Okay. This guy, his name's Lance, sports science guy or something.
Yeah.
On Instagram, and he put up a post explaining why jump height, or like box jump height or vertical jump height, is not necessarily a great indicator for power, for the term power. Now, the reason why it's so confusing is because he's just getting extremely technical. Layman's terms, the way that you would talk about it in a gym with a coach, it is a good measurement of power. Without a doubt, it's a good measurement of power. But his argument is that power is non-directional, so power doesn't have a directional vector, which is to say the angle of force output doesn't come into account. So the formula for power is, it's rate of force production. So the actual formula itself is work over time, so time that it takes to complete a given amount of work. And that's the formula alone, whereas what comes into account when measuring jump is actually direction as well. So if you're going to use jump as a measurement of power, it doesn't really work because because when measuring a height, you're either measuring a jump, you're either measuring a vertical jump, a box jump, a broad jump, a single-legged jump in any direction, which has a measurement of angle involved to it as well. So the issue comes in purely when being really nitpicky. You're being really nitpicky on the terminology being used, and what he's saying is it's more a measurement of impulse and momentum. So impulse is the, I can't remember the formula for impulse, but it's impulse times momentum or something, and momentum is the speed at which you leave the ground, and impulse takes into account not only the ground force but the angle in which it is produced as well. That's basically it. So it's really being super nitpicky. It's saying like it's not power because a jump is directional somewhat. And that's true to a degree because it does then become slightly technique based as well when you're doing a jump, where if someone is not jumping directly vertical and they're slightly off the 90 degree to the floor, then there is a argument to say that it's not a true measurement of power, because despite the amount of effort that they put in, they did not necessarily get the same amount of output going upwards, because they may have jumped slightly forwards, slightly backwards, slightly to the left, slightly to the right. So you could do it using force plates. That would be the only way that you could use a jump as a power measurement, because that does work. But even force plates have like generally 4 different, to either bilateral measurements, so left to right, which would then be it's not power either anymore. And some of them even have anterior posterior measurements, and even some of them are split like 8 ways and have like anterior lateral and anterior medial forces as well.
What about like a tendo unit where it just measures like distance from, like rate of distance from the main unit? Because it doesn't matter if you go either way, the distance.
The distance is the same?
Yeah. Or the direction of pull is still going to be straight line.
Do you want to explain what a tendo unit is while I think about it?
Yeah, so a tendo unit is basically, think of like a winch that is attached to the floor. You're attached to the unit as well. So if you were to jump, it's just like you pulling it, like pulling against the winch, and the winch will extend and it will measure how fast the winch extends and how far it extends and all of those metrics as well.
Yes, but no. Yes, in the way that you're thinking about it, but if you wanted to really nitpick, angles still come into play a little bit, because depending on the angle in which you jump,
Yeah.
the force of gravity will change.
Yeah.
The effect of gravity will change. But again, you're looking at like non-measurable differences, I think.
Yeah. So basically what he was saying is like, if we like not simplify it, but if we bring it into the terms of like a power clean, you can increase the weight that you can power clean without becoming more powerful.
Yes.
Because you just got better at the technique of power cleaning.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing with a jump. You can actually just get better at jumping to improve your jump. You're not necessarily becoming more powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
Or improving your power output.
Yep. But that can be said for almost any movement.
Yes.
Like, because you're not even if you look at some.
Hence douchebag.
Yeah. I can't even think of. Can you think of a movement that has absolute? You okay?
Yeah, I think I swallowed a spider.
Aside from neurological firing gains, so
Yeah.
like neuro pathways, so to say. So for anyone who has been to a gym, you would understand that like you have what's called newbie gains. It's like a big term that coaches use when someone first comes in, and you'd probably remember the first time you went to a gym, you tried to bench press 40 kilos and it was like shaky as hell and super hard, but then 3 sessions later,
Could have even been the same session.
yeah, same session, you benched 80 kilos smoothly, and that's not necessarily just because that's not because you got doubled in strength. That's just your body and your brain learnt to be more in sync in that particular movement. So your brain learnt how to fire the motor units required to lift the weight and to stabilize the weight with proper sequencing as well. Whereas I can't think of a movement aside from those sequencing things that you could not benefit from with technical
Technique.
implications as well. Like, I don't think there's a movement simple enough that there is not some sort of a technical aspect.
Yeah, well, there's a reason in research they choose to do like bicep curl, hamstring curl,
Yes.
like those, because they are relatively simple movements.
But even things like that, where how much dorsiflexion is in your ankle while you're doing the hamstring curl,
Exactly.
that will change how effectively.
But
you're
I
able
mean,
to
like
do it.
that's the reason that they use those. That's,
Yes,
you know,
yeah,
like
because there's as little as possible. Yeah, for sure. That's why it's very hard to
leg
find.
press, same thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
why
use those movements.
yeah, I think that's why it's very hard to find. Like I've tried to find good studies using squat and stuff, but
They
it's
don't
just
exist.
like lab based. It's just not. It's too hard. I don't think laboratory researchers do it because it's too much grey area.
Yeah, and it's usually on like they'll always use like a pneumatic machine where they can, you know, choose the weight exactly and yeah.
What do you think about this? I did during one of my strength conditioning units at uni.
Yeah.
We did 1RM testing for the squat, and the tutor who was running the class came out and was so picky on the way the squat was performed, which is fine from a technical point, but so much so that you're almost going away from what you and I may consider a good squat. Not to say that the way he was teaching it was a bad squat, but to say that the way that he was trying to force people to squat or trying to stop people from squatting, you and me would look at and go, that's actually a pretty good squat. Like, I'm not sure what your issue with it is. And his argument behind it was, if you're going to, he's trying to, what's the word for equaling the standards everywhere?
Standardized?
Yeah, that'd be it. Yeah, that'd do it. He's trying to standardize the technique
Yeah.
being used so that when you measure across multiple populations, it's as close as possible to the same.
So what was he doing? Getting you to have your feet pointing straight ahead,
Feet pointing straight
hips
ahead,
square.
knees over toes.
Yeah.
Only squatting to parallel, don't go below parallel, and things like that. And I'm just curious what you think about that from a testing point of view, and then also from a coaching point of view. Like, if you're getting, he's just works particularly in soccer.
Yeah.
Like if you're telling soccer players that they're only allowed to squat in one possible way,
Yeah.
disregarding anthropometry, restrictions.
Oh God, I was hoping to use that word today.
Yeah.
You robbed it from me.
Contraindications.
Another one I wanted to use today.
All those things. Like, do you think that you're limiting an athlete's ability to use the squat properly to improve?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you elaborated. You fucking dick.
No, I agree completely with you. And what I can only imagine is going in your head. It's like what we said all the time. That
They don't know what's going on in my head, though.
But, you know, like, we just had this conversation that was here, but we just had this conversation that was like
here,
telepathic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's stupid.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
only
I agree.
because, one, anthropometry is like very important. So that
Yeah.
is taking into account people's limb lengths, torso lengths, everything, you know, like how people are put together. Because how you're put together changes the way you move.
So, for
biomechanically.
example, someone with really long legs would squat how compared to someone with very short legs?
So someone who has like really long femurs, so that's your thigh bone, they're gonna have to either sit back a whole bunch to squat the way that this guy wants to, which means they're gonna be folding, or they're gonna have to have a really wide stance so they can be more upright because their hips are gonna have to take that mobility. If they have a really long torso, they'll tend to sit more upright just naturally.
Yeah.
Because where the bar sits, if it was a barbell squat, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So where the bar sits, your body is always going to try to be, trying to find a way for your bar to be over your midfoot, right? So generally what that ends up looking like, if your knees are like just over your toes, your shoulders will be where your knees are, roughly.
Yeah.
So if you have a really long torso, that looks like this. If you have a really short torso, that looks like this. Because the length of your torso indicates the angle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then, you know, obviously you can have short tibias, long tibias, you can have different ranges of motion. Some people are more flexible, some people are less flexible.
Yeah.
Some people, like Mike, for example, are not flexible at all in their foot.
In his defense, he does have screws and pins in his back of his ankle.
Yes.
So he actually physically can't get particular dorsiflexion.
And, you know, I'm only making fun of you because I know you listen and watch.
Yeah.
Think of it as a shout out. And I really do like you, Mike.
Oh, speaking of another shout out, I feel like this is one of your athletes, so you should give him a shout out.
Oh yeah, Adrian. Thanks so much for the beers. The reason we're not drinking them right now is because, like you mentioned, they're 6% and 500 ml. So we can't drink them and then get through the rest of our day
As normal
people.
Yeah.
We're trying to be better this year. We're trying to be more sober, less, you know, irrational drunky drunks.
Yes.
But so appreciate you sending beers for us to drink on the podcast, and we will do that as soon as we do a Saturday podcast, I'm guessing.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I don't even think it has to be a Saturday podcast, man.
Steve's breaking already.
Yeah, 100%. I think for a little while at least, I want to try and avoid drinking midweek.
Yeah. I just don't want to drink during the week now.
Yeah.
Like I said, like we were talking about yesterday, about other things, but like,
Yeah.
it's just a slippery slope.
Yeah.
All of it.
That's why I find
It'll be
it's
better.
always hard at the end of the Christmas period as well, where you feel almost obliged to say yes to beers with people throughout that festive season. And then it becomes habitual as well, where someone's like, hey, let's go get a beer. And then it's very hard to be like, I'm trying not to have beers for the next little while. Like I had a guy, I've promised that you met him at, he doesn't listen to the podcast, but you met him at Ash's birthday, Nick. You bought him a beer.
I don't remember.
Big guy sitting across, has bad back when he runs.
Oh, yeah.
Bad
Back Nick, you should have...
Yeah, bad back Nick. I would have. He messaged me again. I messaged him to see why he wasn't back in the gym, and he shot me a message back and was like, "Well, why haven't we gone to the pub yet? Because I told him I'd go get beers
Yeah.
with him. And I was like, now again, I feel obliged to say yes to you because I did promise you we'd go and get beers at the start of January. And now I'm trying to put my foot down and be like, I don't want to have any beers for a little while.
Yeah.
But you feel kind of like obliged to do it.
Different story if it was your gym.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
All right. Back to what we were saying about this guy, the knee thing. What are your thoughts on that? This is exactly the same as what
Exactly the same. I think anthro is such an important part.
You can say the full word.
Anthropometry.
Are you scared that you'll fuck it up?
No, this is one word I'm confident with.
Really? That wouldn't be my word.
I think anthropometry is so important, just even from an injury prevention point of view. And also, if you look at it from a performance standard, where even if you're just using it completely for testing purposes, you are limiting an athlete's ability to give everything in that testing by limiting the way that they squat. I understand where he's coming from a testing point of view, that from a lab point of view, you really need things to be same as possible, and take out any objectivity from the movements as well. That being said, sometimes I think it's just lazy because it's not lab-based testing. It's not going in a research paper. It is him measuring change and difference between groups or between populations, and rather than taking the time to teach each person to squat well for themselves, which would not be that hard to do. It takes, I'm not saying it takes just 10 minutes, but it takes, for someone who moves quite well at the level of soccer that you actually would do group to group population testing for this sort of thing, they move fairly well. They're going to understand at least somewhat the kind of cues that you're trying to give them. And then you're going to be able to spend 10 minutes with each person, helping them out with that, and then overviewing. It would take 2 sessions to get it done. And if you spent the first 20 minutes of 2 gym sessions teaching each person to squat a little bit more like what is comfortable for them or what works well for them, then you're going to get the most out of each person rather than trying to make everyone squat one particular way. And the other thing is, most people, even people that are uncoordinated and unathletic, if you tell them to do a squat and you get them to do 10 reps, by the 10th rep they're going to be in pretty close to their most comfortable position to do a squat for themselves. Yeah, which is a pretty good indicator of where they're going to be. You don't start everyone, like if I teach someone to do a squat, I don't start them where I think everyone should start from a squat. I tell them to find a comfortable stance and do a squat, and then from there you can change things, rather than starting from your own idea of a perfect squat and changing things. Start from their idea of a comfortable squat and then change things from there.
You're always better, like I always, and as a coach, someone who has like a thorough practical knowledge of coaching, you understand that you're a sculptor, you're not a painter. No. So like you're taking layers away and adding things on to what's already there. You're not like, no one's a blank canvas.
No one's a blank canvas. No.
Unless you have a child and you can like raise it up to be an athlete, no one is. And I think that's a really important distinction. And I think that's the cleverest thing I've ever said.
I think that was very smart. Have you used that analogy before?
I don't know.
Painter and sculptor? Have you heard that somewhere?
Probably heard. I hope I haven't heard it, and I hope I came up with it.
Yeah.
Because
that was clever. I've never heard that before. Yeah. There you go.
That's a snippet right there. But the other thing is, if you're looking for a standardized measurement, aren't there better things to look for?
Than a squat?
No, not than a squat, but like in the squat as well.
Like what?
I don't know. Like what is he testing for? 1RM performance or?
No, he's just. I'd say he's just testing for lower body strength improvement.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, why doesn't he look at? So like, so that is 1RM then, if you're looking at strength improvement.
Yeah.
So why does it matter what they look like when they squat?
Well, because that's the whole point.
Wouldn't it be better to just be like, this is what they look like at the start of the program? They squat the exact same way at the end of the program. That's good enough.
No, because the way that he's someone that prides himself on the fact that he's got systems in place to measure change and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he also because he's so data driven, and I understand where he's coming from, but because he's so data driven, if he can look at one team, because he doesn't just work for one team.
Yeah.
If he can look at one team's scores in something, let's use running as an example. If he can look at team A's high speed meters in a game and how they perform during those high speed meters, if he can look at those and they were a championship team, and then look at one of his other teams that he oversees and they were bottom of the table and their high speed meters were all the way down here, it makes it easy for him to go, okay, well, that's probably one of the contributing factors, so we need to bring that up. So because he's going from population to population and he's trying to be specific with data, and I think it's because he probably comes from a lab background, he wants it to be as standardized as possible. So he's not just looking at it and being like, I need everyone to squat the same amount of weight across teams to be all similar performance levels. I need them to do it in the same fashion as well.
Yeah.
So that's where he's coming from. But I just think he's missing things. And I should point out, like,
he's very smart and he's not.
Yeah. Like I should point out, he's not an idiot.
Yeah.
Like he's not. Like he's made a very good living for himself at a very high level of sport in a lot of different sports.
Yeah.
Like, so his experience level and qualifications and education is well beyond mine. But this is an uneducated opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, my only.
So he'd be better off using the test as a leg press and using the modality for improvement as the squat then.
Yeah.
Or even a leg extension or something dumb like that.
For sure. Which is dumb, but you know.
Because
it's just not fun. The other problem with those movements is they're not functional.
Yeah.
But if
But at the same time, imagine the torque forces of making someone squat like that. No wonder all these soccer players have ACL injuries.
Well, it's not too bad because he doesn't make them squat below parallel, so it's all PCL.
Yeah, but that's the angle at which, like, you're most at strain, right? At that parallel point.
Just below parallel is where the majority of strain shifts to the ACL, though.
Okay.
Above parallel, it's like 70% PCL.
Yeah, fair enough.
Parallel was not a word I'm confident saying.
That's what I was about
I
to
thought
bring
I'd
up.
beat you to the joke. Yeah.
But I let it slip.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell me about Robert Downey Jr. and Rogan.
That's all the information that I have.
What do you think?
Just that they're doing a podcast. I just think that, like, surely Robert Downey Jr. has got to be up there with the top 3 most famous people he's ever got on his podcast.
Snowden? Infamous.
He's infamous, yeah. And
Elon?
yeah. There's
Wait, who's the top 3 in your eyes?
probably those 3. But Edward Snowden, you almost have to remove him because he's infamous. He's seen. It's not Rogan's being influential or anything like that that's gotten Edward Snowden on that.
Yeah.
It's Edward Snowden seeing a big platform to preach a little bit,
Yeah.
as opposed to, like, Robert Downey Jr.'s not getting any more famous from being on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, he's already at the height of his...
He's already at the height.
Yeah, I mean, Endgame would have been the height of his
Yeah.
popularity. Like, even when he was younger, he's not as popular as he is now. Like, he's a household name.
Yeah. Do you like the Sherlock Holmes films?
I did.
Yeah. They're doing a 3rd one. It's out this year.
Really?
Yeah,
With him as
I'm
well?
very excited for it.
Did you ever watch the Sherlock TV show
No.
on BBC?
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's really... With Benedict Cumberbatch.
I never watched it.
It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
still
like
not even finished The Witcher yet, and I've been
It's
watching
like
it
the
for like
movie.
3 weeks now.
Yeah, but that's good. You're not wasting your time on TV shows like I would. Doing work, probably. I think, hopefully.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. This week's been a bit flat out.
Of doing work?
Just been hectic.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also been really crazy just doing like little things.
Little
like
things,
programming and all of that stuff.
I just seem to have had a lot of hours this week, and I don't know where they came from. Like,
Working?
yeah, like I just, like, normally I don't invoice for anywhere near as many hours as I'm going to invoice for this week. Like, I'm going to invoice for probably like 150, 160% of what I normally, you thought I was going to say hours then, 150 or 160%. I just don't want to say my actual hours.
Oh, yeah.
of what I normally would.
Yeah.
And I've also got more of my own programming on my plate this week as well that's taken up probably another 5 or 6 hours this week.
That's a lot.
Like, it just seems to have compounded this week randomly, like out of nowhere. I'm just doing a lot of hours at times that I normally don't. They've just popped up all in 1 week.
Well, that's good, right?
It's not a bad thing. It's better. I'd rather be busy than have nothing to do.
Yeah. But you just don't have time to make shorts.
Yeah.
Sad. But you gotta weigh up like the thing that's making you money now, or the thing that probably still won't make you money in the future.
Yeah, that's true as well. Do you think this could make us money one day?
Oh yeah, I do. I really do. I have a lot of fun doing this, and
see, I have a lot of fun doing the podcast. I don't necessarily have a lot of fun doing everything else surrounding it.
yeah. But right now you don't do anything else surrounding it.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of us do much.
Yeah.
Like mainly just uploading it.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think about? Did you reply to that message on Instagram?
About
the one that we were talking about yesterday?
No, I never. I just liked their thing. Oh no, sorry, I did. No, I did. I replied to it and I said, "Oh, that's great, so cool." We'll have to give you guys a listen as well, and then I followed them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I followed them back. So he followed me from his personal account and his podcast account as well. So yeah, and then they mentioned us in a story of theirs.
Did they really?
Yeah.
What did they say?
It was like,
check them out, or was it like?
No, it wasn't like that.
Copycats?
No, it was like an uneducated opinion that someone else had posted, and he screenshot it and put it on his story.
Yeah.
And then he was like, it was probably more of like a, hey, what do you think of this uneducated opinion?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, well, let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't discuss what we were discussing yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just interested in what your thoughts are about the situation. Like,
if it's the way that you think it is, from listening to it, like you said you did, it maybe is not a threat.
yeah.
We may have to edit that out of this.
We're not editing anything. We'll just leave it there. Yeah, we'll talk about this after.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now, you wanted to... Oh, I did wanted to ask you something. I wanted to have the conversation we had last night. Now.
What was the conversation last night?
Just about, like, what do you think about the CrossFit qualifying and all of that stuff, you know?
Why are you looking around like that?
What do you think about how to get to the games? It's pretty hard, right? Or pretty easy in some cases?
Yeah. Okay, so Annie messaged me last night. Are you happy for me to tell this whole story?
Not the whole story. Just tell us like the points of, not the reason why I asked, but
okay. So
which just like is obvious now.
Yeah. So
guys, I'm going to the games.
There's multiple ways you can qualify for the CrossFit Games now. So it used to be you do the Open, and then you go from the Open to a regionals for each region, obviously. So yeah, I don't know, but I was going to say country, and then I had to backtrack. So the regions were split in, I guess, the most recent regionals. So the last one that they did, you had like the Pacific region, which is Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, and I think part of Asia as well. And then you had like East and Western Europe, or maybe it was North and South Europe.
Something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, and then you had like America was split 3 different ways, and then you had like Russia and a couple of other places came in. Actually, I think Russia might have even been part of the Pacific Regional, which is ridiculous, but whatever.
The point is there were regions set up.
There were regions set up, yeah. There was regions set up somewhere, and then they took, depending on what they had deemed each region to contribute as far as quality goes, they decided how many athletes got to go from that region. So
for example, Australia
had 5 in the last regional. So in the last time they did it, they had 5, and then other smaller continents had, or regions had like 2, for example, or 3. And that was really the only way that you qualified to the games. They still had their whole wild card system where they could give an ex-games competitor who just happened to be injured at the wrong time or something a ticket, which I never really had an issue with. It was probably fair enough. It sucks. That's not how other sports operate it, but it was a cool thing that they used to do for people like Ben Smith or Sam Briggs, like true tried and tested veterans who were always going to qualify if they weren't in.
Yeah, and in the past, they never did it to people that were just randoms.
No, never, yeah.
But they do that now.
Yes, but now the new system is, I won't say that word, is really bad. Silly.
What word were you going to say?
One that you're not allowed to use because your friend will get angry at me. I'm trying to be less bigoted for your friend.
My friend? Caitlin?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The new system...
I think people like it when we mention their names on the podcast.
Yeah.
If they listen.
Yeah. I think that...
I think Caitlin really wants to like you.
Yeah, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. We're not going to get back into this discussion. I'm
not bringing anything up. I want you guys to be friends.
The CrossFit, the way of doing it now is there are three different ways to qualify. So you can either come top 20 in the world in the open, either in male or female. You can qualify for a sanctional. Some sanctionals are qualified via the open. Others have their own online qualifiers. Okay. And then if you come first at a sanctional, you get a ticket to the games as well from coming first in the sanctional. If the person who comes first has already got a ticket from the open or from a previous sanctional, it backfills. So then if second has also already got one, it will go to third. Yeah. The final way of qualifying is through being coming first from your nation. This is the one that I have a particular issue with, just because there are nations that... Have you already got some sort of a way of putting me on the gronk here? Have you already come up with an argument? Before I keep talking, I feel like you've already...
No. I just want to know your thoughts. I don't always have an ulterior motive.
I don't know
Sometimes
about that.
I'm just curious
I feel like
as
you're
to
trying to make
what
me
you
look
think.
bad again.
No. Sometimes I genuinely respect your opinion. Sometimes. Not all the time. In this case, I respect your opinion. And I respect your expertise when it comes to CrossFit, because this is your world and this is where you are going to see people that potentially have not earned their way there. So I'm putting my foot in my mouth. The same way that you might think you have.
Yeah.
Not like go to the games.
So I'll just clarify that point. I personally do not feel like I am anywhere near worthy of being at the games. Okay, so I'll just clarify that so that you don't make me seem like a dick in the way you said that. I don't feel like I deserve to be at the games. However, I feel like there are a lot of people who will be at the games
who are less deserving than even you.
No, that's not how I'm going to say it. That's not how I'm going to say it. That's not what I was going to say. Who are taking potential spots off of people who may have earned it more, or who are more deserving of it, not including myself. So the way that they're doing it now is taking the first place from each nation. The issue that there is with that is that they're filling 150 spots total, roughly, 150 spots for the games for both males and for females. A lot of these spots are being taken by those firsts in each nation. Okay, if you think there are 150 spots to go out to people, okay, you would think you would want to try and get as close to possible as the top 150 in the world to compete there. Rather than the way that the system is set up now, there will be people there that are not even within the top 10,000 in the world, just because the nation in which they compete under doesn't have any other competitors. Because at the end of the day, CrossFit is still a very small sport in the grand scheme of things. I know they like to think they're massive, but they're not. And there are still nations out there where there are 3 people competing under that nation, 2, 1 person. So just by being someone that is healthy enough to get off the couch, you could potentially qualify for the games. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have with it. Now, you look at, like you said, you play the hands that you dealt.
Yeah, I thought what you said yesterday was like the analogy you used with Usain Bolt was
okay.
so clever, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's 100% right.
Yeah,
That's the
so
way you look at it.
The reason why I don't have an issue with people taking the ticket, okay, I have an issue with the way the system is set up because I feel like there are people coming second in Down Under CrossFit Games, CrossFit Championships.
What did you come in Down Under?
I feel like there are people who came second at Down Under or third who did not get a ticket to the games this year, but there were people who came first in
Sri Lanka.
Ethiopia.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, people who came first in Ethiopia who wouldn't even would be Eddie the Eel at the CrossFit Games as opposed to.
So your problem is with the color of his skin.
Oh, fuck. I tried to think of a different country too. That one was already in my head. But I knew that's what you were going to go.
If you're a listener who doesn't understand that reference, Eddie the Eel was a swimmer who is from... Where is he from? Ethiopia? He's not from Ethiopia.
He wasn't from Ethiopia. No.
He was from...
That's not why I used to use that. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, he's from an African nation who competed at the 2000 Olympics.
Yeah.
Having qualified as a wild card.
Yes.
It was a big deal. He'd been someone who hadn't swum ever before.
Yeah.
And only learned to swim for the Olympics, basically.
And very nearly drowned.
In the pool.
Yeah. Like, he ended up in a heat by himself.
Yeah.
First of all, it was only 100 meter free, I think, and it took him a couple of minutes to do the 100 meter free. But like, it's actually a story that is awesome.
Yeah,
like
it's very much in the spirit of
the Olympics.
The Olympic
100% it is. But I guess what I'm trying to say is when compared to the field of people that qualified, not legitimately, but that qualified after years and years and years of training, he looked like he shouldn't have been there, right? Looked out of place.
Well, you're saying that. No, like very true. Like if you consider the Olympics as what it originally was, like amateur sport, and a confluence of all the different countries to come show up in the spirit of the games to see.
It is very much in the spirit of the games.
Yeah,
it is cool.
That's not what the Olympics are now. The Olympics are a way of showing up and enforcing your nation's dominance over everyone else. Yeah. So it is very different. And then in this realm of CrossFit, it's also very different because CrossFit right now, the way it's set up, is moving towards more of a professional sport.
Yes,
with
for sure.
Professional intermediaries that are not related to CrossFit, the entity itself.
So it sucks when there's people like the guy who came third at Down Under this year. He missed out on a qualification spot, and 50 people that get a qualification spot to the game. Well, I won't say 50. There's probably like 30 people that get a qualification spot to the games by being the best in their nation that he would beat with one hand tied behind his back. Like without an issue at all, he would smoke them, absolutely smoke them. And in a professional sport, like you said, a sport moving towards being a professional sport, he doesn't get that ticket to the games because 30 of those 150 spots are being filled by people that are not as good as him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the same in the Olympics.
Yes.
Team China, they should have unlimited spots. They obviously deserve, if you have someone like Liu Jiajun and Li Dayin, who are the two best 81s in the country, they're both capable of pretty much the same numbers, and only one of them gets to go to the Olympic Games, that's unfair, right? But when it's like, Liu Jiajun, Li Dayin, and number 50 gets to go to the games, but not number 2, then that's like even more unfair, and that's the situation you're being faced with.
Thank you for saying that better than what I was saying it.
That's okay.
But that being said, what I said to Andy last night, he said to me, but do you play the cards you dealt? And I said, yes, you do, in the same way that if I was at the Olympics and someone walked up to me and said, hey, do you want to race Usain Bolt in the 100 metres for a shit take? 100% I would. There's no way I'd say no to that. He's going to absolutely fly by me, but that would be an awesome experience just to see, not only to stand next to Usain Bolt, which the other thing is, for a lot of people who do CrossFit, they're pretty obsessive about CrossFit. So the idea of potentially lining up next to Matt
Your
Fraser
idols.
or Ben Smith in a competition workout, that's incredible. It doesn't matter how much they smash you by. As far as like life goals or personal achievements, that is like so cool. That'd be a bucket list for a lot of people.
Yeah.
In the same way that I would love to stand next to Usain Bolt for that reason, but then also just to be like, holy shit, I'm not that slow and he's that much faster. Like, that is incredible to see how fast he is. In the same way that I would love to do a workout next to Matt Fraser to be like, I'm not bad, holy shit, like, he's that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just cool to see. I guess I'm looking at it from, I'm in awe of human performance a lot of the time, like
Yeah,
how well
I
people
get it.
can perform.
Yeah, you look at Usain Bolt and you're like, wow, imagine how high he could jump. His force production must
Yeah. Through the roof, yeah. Well, have you seen him deadlift? These RDLs?
No.
Oh, so strong.
I've seen him power clean.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's not good.
Yeah.
But then I've seen LeBron squat. Have you seen LeBron squat?
No.
Oh god. I wish we had the capability of like opening Instagram on this.
Oh, really?
But
You
I don't
just go to Instagram.
Yeah, but I don't have it connected to the internet right now,
Ah, I see.
which is unfortunate. But we'll fix that. So I can show you in the future on episodes stuff on Instagram.
That's funny as. So yeah, look, I don't like the way it's set up only because I feel like you said, it's taking away from spots from people that are more deserving. But that being said, also the way that it was set up with the regionals, there wasn't 150 spots for each category
Yeah.
either. There was a lot less, and that's part of the reason why the standard was so much higher. And also the way they're doing the cut, I know this is going back to another tangent, but the way that they're doing the cut now, where this year they took those 150 and after the first event they cut back to 75.
Yeah, so you're only going for like half a day basically.
Yeah. So a lot of these people that do qualify through that means of being the number one in their nation will be gone, in this case, after a 14-minute event. They were gone. So they did a 14-minute event and they were gone. But again, if you said, hey Steve, fly to America and do in my case, 17-second 100-meter against Usain Bolt, I would. I would go and fly to do that.
Yeah, he
100%
could run up and back by the time I got to the end of the 100-meter mark,
No, he
probably.
couldn't.
Yeah, I reckon he could.
No, he couldn't. You are wrong. But that being said,
You reckon I'm that fast?
I reckon he's not that fast. I don't
He's
think.
pretty close.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my opinion. I would never in the way the rules are set up. That's the way they're set up. I would never tell someone not to go, because, as I said, it's an experience. But I don't necessarily agree with the way it's set up.
Yeah. Yeah, so your issue
Making the
is
best
with
of a bad situation.
the system, not with the people that take advantage of the
No,
system.
not at all.
And so with that, guys, guess I'm going to the games for Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
I'm not a citizen of Sri Lanka. Would be cool though to make that as a goal. But what
Do you
I
have to be a citizen, or is it? Sorry.
Yeah, you have to be a citizen. So you don't have to even reside in the country.
No, you don't. No.
So you
Well,
don't
that's why
have to
Tia still has to compete under this Australia.
Yeah, you don't have to be domiciled in the country that you're actually competing.
Isn't it
for,
funny
which is
that you know more about like the bylaws than I do?
cool. Of what?
CrossFit.
No, it's just like I
No, you
follow.
do.
I really like CrossFit.
Then why don't you do it anymore?
I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
I like everything around CrossFit. I like the culture. I like the modalities. I like some of the coaches, like you. I like
What coaches don't you like?
probably ones that are
Ben
not
Bergeron?
good. No, I think Ben's good, but he only has like 5 athletes.
Yeah.
They're the best in the world, but only 5 of them. Yeah. So who else has he produced?
Yeah. In that being said, he hasn't brought anyone up from nobody.
That's true. But he's giving the top people that he coaches, obviously, like, whatever they need to succeed, right?
I would like to make a funny comment that no one else is going to get. Do you love that one coach in Australia, whose name I won't mention, that always harps on about developing people from nothing, like developing people from being very low-level athletes.
The CrossFit coach?
No, the weightlifting coach.
Oh, yes.
That he harps on about how
Yeah.
he's never poached people or da-da-da-da, and he develops them all the way up. But I know full well at least 2 or 3 of his athletes were very good CrossFitters before they walked into his weightlifting gym.
Yeah. That's interesting. I have no idea who you're talking
Don't you?
about.
No? Oh, okay.
Anyway, so, in other news, wait, who would you say is the greatest CrossFit coach in the world?
Oh,
Like, is there someone that you're like, fuck, you know who's the best CrossFit coach in the world? Probably Greg Glassman. He invented CrossFit. Do you think Greg Glassman is a good CrossFit coach?
No. I think he's got a god complex.
You realise that you're sabotaging every chance you have to be high up in CrossFit, right?
No, not now that everything's privately run.
That's true. Very true.
However, I would probably pop for a drug test at some point. I didn't actually fail. Greg Glassman had sprinkled some clenbuterol in my urine as it was getting sent to the lab. But
what's that? And what does it do?
Clenbuterol?
Yeah.
Do you actually not know?
No, I don't.
Do you actually know? It's used to shred horses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very bad for your liver. But yeah.
And your heart.
Actually, you do know it because of that time. Oh, you dick. Yeah. Oh, God.
So clenbuterol is a weight cutting drug that a lot of people use. People use it in weightlifting as well.
Yeah.
It is definitely banned, so don't use it. It used to be medication for bronchitis and asthma and things like that. Now we use prednisone, which does the opposite. It actually bloats you rather than makes you skinnier.
While we've got time, and I'm happy to continue the podcast regardless, I would like to touch on, I was waiting until I got to the gym to say something to you, and I forgot. My reasoning behind why I do not necessarily like the snatch balance as
Oh yeah, I was waiting for you to ask about
under
it.
the bar.
Yeah.
My reason being is because of the position and the way in which you generate speed under the bar in a snatch balance is different to the way in which you do it in a snatch. I think for speed under the bar, you should be doing like no pull snatches, so like arm only snatches and very high hang work, as opposed to, I don't feel like where you start behind the neck up until just before lockout, is it in any way similar to the way that you get under the bar in the snatch itself.
Okay.
I think that generating speed under the bar comes from pulling on the turnover, not from drive behind the head. That's why I don't think it's speed. I think it's a great drill for lockout and a great drill for stability and a great drill for working depth and catching low, but I do not think that it's a great drill for working you to be faster under the bar, because I don't think that's how you get faster under the bar in the actual lift.
Yeah.
Rebuttal, because I can tell you don't agree.
No, I do agree.
But rebuttal in... 3, 2, 1, go.
I do agree.
Do you?
Yeah. I just think... Well, I have a question for you. What does the snatch pull look like to you from contact to overhead?
What do you mean?
Can you walk me through what happens with the arms as the bar travels overhead?
Yeah. So from hip contact with the arms.
Yeah.
From hip contact, elbows break, bar stays close to the body, as close to the body. Your elbows travel upwards towards the roof. As they're traveling upwards, as soon as you are no longer able to keep the bar path close to the body by continuing with an upwards motion of the elbows, because to continue upwards you would need to let the bar drift forwards. That is when an external rotation happens at the shoulder. That's when an external rotation happens at the shoulder. The elbows lock out behind the head, and that's where you finish the lift.
Interesting. That is also how I believed the snatch was for many years, until I became a good coach.
Oh, yeah.
No, I still believe that.
Do you?
I just think, again, it's not one size fits all. But I used to hate people that muscle snatched like this. You know, like how Bo does it, where he makes contact, he'll turn over the bar here and then press it out.
I'm not saying there's one side. Yeah, see, I understand what you're about to get at, but
I agree there's no one size fits all, but I do not believe that it is ever correct to turn over at head height and then press under the bar.
Okay.
I don't think there's ever a way where that is proper, ever. My reason behind that being, because if you're going to press under the bar from, let's say, approx forehead, the bar is not going to be in the right line for the catch, and then you're going to press it up forward. You're not going to be able to press it up backwards.
And now this is my rebuttal to that. Remember that things don't happen in vacuum, and that when you are snatching, there can be a high degree of lean back, that arched angel, which can counteract the bar path loss as you turn over the bar. So people that are listening have no idea what we're talking about, but basically what we're saying is that I hope the people that are listening even train weightlifting.
Otherwise you should have turned off a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, this is like a training podcast today. But as the bar makes contact with the hips, it goes upwards. So we think about the bar and the hips as like almost two waves clashing. So like the force of those two clashing is going to send the bar upwards, hopefully, if you've done it well. And then the arms basically are used to choose the direction that the bar is going upwards, whether that's up and outwards or up and straight, right? Now, we want that bar path to be somewhat as straight as possible. There is going to be a slight S-curve, so the bar's going to loop a little bit away from the body as you make contact, and then hook over and land in the right position. Like that's what, if we look at any top level weightlifter, it's going to have some deviation like that.
And it's going to have a bit of a J shape at the top.
Yes, upside down J.
Upside down J.
Yeah. You don't want it to be a regular and no T across the top of the J. But yeah, it's an upside down J. And now what I'm saying, so what Steve was saying was how I also coach the snatch, is that the elbows travel as high as they can before the bar starts deviating forwards, and then we turn
to counteract the deviation forwards,
you can lean back more, or you have to turn over the bar earlier. Now, the only reason I brought that up is because...
But at what point do you think you're pressing under the bar, other than for lockout?
You are only pressing under for lockout.
So then why... So do you agree that the snatch balance is in no way helping generate speed under the bar?
Yes.
Other than speed in the snatch balance?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay,
I'm just like disagreeing with your reasoning behind it, in that it's not emulating the positioning. Exactly. What I'm saying is that
I don't think it can.
What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is, I'm actually doing what that dude did at the start that we talked about at the start of the podcast. Is I'm nitpicking you on the slightest thing, because you're saying it's only right at the top that it emulates, but I'm saying it can be slightly lower.
Okay. Right. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
See, what I thought you were trying to say to me is that, like, especially when you use the bow,
like it's exactly the same.
And no, especially when you use the bow for an example, and where he turns over, because he could turn over nearly at eye height and press it out and still call it a
which is
muscle
not
snatch.
good.
But I thought you were saying, like, there is a point in some people's snatch where they would turn over here and still press out for a successful snatch.
Yeah.
I don't care how far you're leaning back. If you're turned over here and then pressing out, you're not getting the lift.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Okay, cool. I agree with what you're saying then. I do agree with what you're saying. We're not on opposite wavelengths. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, there is definitely a point in which someone may turn over earlier. However, my only rebuttal to that as a coach would be that someone who is in the practice of turning over earlier is not going to be able to lift as heavy as they normally would, as heavy as they could, because if they have an early turnover, they need to be further under the bar and therefore have pulled the bar higher in order to get the lift. Whereas if they are in the habit of making that turnover at lockout at the last second, then that is the best way to be able to pull the bar to minimal height and still get under it.
I think
whereas you need to beat the bar and still have room to go down. So you need to be under the bar and still have room to sink if you're going to turn over early. Whereas you can meet the bar, you can meet at bottom position as the bar is hitting you if you're turning over at the last second?
I think that you're not taking anthropometry into well, like if your arms are really short, then that turnover is going to happen a lot faster anyway. Steve is going through the motions in his head. Watch the gears turn. So yeah, if you have a long torso and short arms, it's going to happen super quick anyway. And in that case, the snatch balance is even more worthwhile for you to practice speed under the bar.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're getting at, but I'm still not sure I necessarily agree. I need to go through it in my head.
But if I was to be an intelligent person, I would just agree with you. I'm literally only fighting you for the sake of fighting you. I'm in one of those moods today.
Do you not think that... So I guess what the point... I know, yeah, it's fucking with me. Yeah. So I guess the point that you're getting at is to say that if your anthropometry is in a particular way, so say you have long femurs, but a short torso and short arms, then to say it is potentially unavoidable to be turned over to be in the bottom of the squat, the bottom of the catch, in the same speed that you are able to turn over. So if you're doing both maximally, the turnover is going to finish before you're in the bottom. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not, but that's also correct.
Okay. I thought that's what you were trying to say.
No, that I was talking about having short enough arms that when you're turning over the bar, you're going to turn over the bar like really low because your arms are already like almost on the way to...
Externally rotated?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I get what you're saying.
But
that's
what
really
you're saying,
fucking nitpicky.
Yeah, but what you're saying, it's also very true. Because if you take into account someone like Kush, who has extremely long femurs, but she has a short torso and like reasonably long arms.
It takes her X to get into the bottom.
Yes.
But it takes her X minus whatever to actually turn over.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Which is why she's
I see what I said, but you agree.
I see what you're saying, that you think that I think that you're saying.
Well, I kind of have to get to work.
Yeah, that was a pretty good podcast. Who are we brought to by today? What is this?
We're brought to you today by EDPE Bedroom Solutions.
Please explain.
If you don't understand that acronym, it's probably not for you anyway. But EDPE Bedroom Solutions have been helping people for years who struggle in the bedroom. Co-host Andy is actually one of the company's biggest ambassadors.
I don't know what it is.
And actually their very first success story as well.
Is this like
I'm going to hand over
Is this
to
like
Andy.
an erectile dysfunction? Wait, EDPD, erectile dysfunction...
And premature ejaculation. Don't pretend you don't know what it is. Okay, Andy. So he's going to give you guys a quick testimonial on what they did for him and what they could do for you.
Guys, 15 years ago, I found out that I was impotent.
I wish I could have done that with a straight face because I've been waiting for the right episode to do that, and I fucked it. Fuck. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, to episode 17 of the Uneducated Opinions. We're really enjoying doing it so far. We'd love to try and get...
Is it really dark in here?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's not too bad on the thing. I've been thinking that for a while. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying listening to it, and if you are, I hope you can pass it on to some of your friends. I feel like the last 2 episodes that we've done have been really cool. I've really enjoyed them. I know a couple of people have messaged me as well to say they really liked, especially episode 16.
What was 16?
That was
Love
Languages. Yeah.
Oh, I really liked that episode. This one I liked because I like talking training, but I understand if not everyone likes that.
Yeah. So give us a share. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notifications bell on YouTube. If you really liked it, take a screenshot of you listening to it, chuck it up on your story. We'll share it back as well. If you have any questions or if you actually are interested and feel like maybe Andy was making a little bit of sense about training, hit him up as well or hit me up.
Hit both of us up.
Our Instagrams will be on the screen.
Yeah, just below. So I'm at Train with Andy on Instagram and Steve is at Steve Norman 250 on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening. And again, guys, what I want from you guys is if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, or if you have any particular things that you want us to talk about, just reach out to Steve or me. And
or the page, just message the page.
Yeah, or the page, yeah. Which Steve runs, if you haven't noticed. I do not run it. That's why I always comment on it.
Well, actually, neither of us run it. We pay someone to run it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because we're rolling in it.
That's right. Cashed up.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
See ya.